Doug, I take it you've been married for some time.
That's true.
What do you believe the secret to marriages that last are?
Okay, I'll just put it in a nutshell. Confession of sin. Keeping short accounts. When marriages go awry, when people, they're just, the air is full of crackle, or there's bitterness or resentment or hurt or distance, the problem is always sin. Always. There are marriage challenges where, husband was in a car wreck and he can't work. There are things like that. But overwhelmingly, when a husband and wife who once were in love with each other, who were once on honeymoon, are having trouble getting along, one or the other, and probably both, are in sin. And they're carrying it says in Hebrews, let us lay aside every weight and the sin that so easily entangles. Being married is running a race together. And when you're tangled up in sin, and when you've got all kinds of resentments and that sort of thing, it's just, you're trying to run the race with a 150-pound backpack on. So when I do pre-marriage counseling, I go over this in every first session that I go over, and I tell the young couple that the illustration that I'd like to use is, imagine there are two houses side by side and 5 kids in each family. The wives are good friends. Husbands are good friends. They work at the same company. They drive the same kind of van. They've got similar interests and everything. But the difference between the two homes is that one of them is immaculate and clean, and the other house is blitzed, cluttered. The difference between the two homes is not how many T-shirts get put on in the morning, because that's the same. It's not how many breakfast bowls get used in the morning, because that's the same. It's not how many shoes get kicked off the door or not, because that's the same. The difference between the two homes is what gets picked up and when. And in the cluttered house, someone uses the breakfast bowl, shoves it to the middle of the table. 2 days later, someone moves it to the counter. 3 days later, someone shoves it a couple of feet toward the sink. Then someone puts it on top of the pile and says, we'll get to this Saturday morning. And then something happens Saturday morning, and that's why the house is cluttered. The other house is picked up, but it's only picked up because everything is picked up when it happens. When the spill happens, you clean it up then. When you use the bowl, you rinse it and you put it in the dishwasher. That's how you stay on top of it. And I tell couples that in 5 years, your marriage is going to be one of those two houses. So what you need to learn how to do is pick it up now. If you said something hurtful, if you got offended when you shouldn't have, if you got crossways with each other, you don't wait for it to blow over. Waiting for it to blow over is like spilling the coffee cup and then kicking it under the couch. That's what letting it blow over does. It's still there, and it's going to come back and haunt you. It's going to upset you later. And then imagine couples that have 30 years of that. They're living in the crazy cat lady's house. And
so maybe some of the doctrines or mechanics behind this confession and forgiveness. Mm-hmm. So if someone's, do you recommend I'm sorry? Do you recommend I was wrong, please forgive me? And maybe what's going on behind those two ideas?
Yeah. When our kids were, one of the things we tried to do, I'm sure there was, and I don't want to be a perfectionist on this sort of thing, but I think it's far healthier to have kids say, especially boys, say, I was wrong instead of I'm sorry, because they might not be sorry. I was wrong is an objective truth. I was wrong is objectively correct. I believe that there is a difference between pardon me and forgive me. Okay, so if I'm backing up in a crowded hallway and I bump into someone and they spill their coffee, I'll turn around and say, pardon me, because it was not intentional. Pardon me is please excuse me. Pardon me, I didn't mean that. That's a pardon me. Forgive me would be if they're standing out there by themselves and I lower my head and run into them. The only way I'd say pardon me if I was taunting them. Right? That requires contrite, forgive me, I was wrong. Okay? So when a husband hurts his wife's feelings, many times, especially between Christians, many times that's a pardon me situation. I didn't know you take it that way. Please pardon me. I didn't intentionally try to hurt you. Pardon me. But when he said something cutting and vindictive and mean, that's I wronged you. What I did was wrong. Would you please forgive me? And that kind of thing has to be done like today, now.
Say a husband continues to come to his wife and he keeps saying, I'm sorry for doing the same thing. And he's done it. This is a regular occurrence. Every 3 days, every week. So this whole idea of cleaning up, it's just, he keeps leaving this dish, metaphorically speaking. Yeah. What am I really supposed to just keep?
Well, part of this has to do with one of my favorite questions is by what standard? So if he is saying, I'm sorry, because his wife took offense, but there's nothing in the Bible about whatever it was, right? But she said, you didn't greet me when you came home within 30 seconds, or the Bible says nothing about that kind of thing. So he should adjust his behavior so he doesn't stumble her. He should think it through and seek to love her in that. But that's a pardon me kind of thing, not forgive me. So if a husband is the one who's apologizing all the time, he needs to view the game film. Am I really that much of a dope that I'm sinning against my wife every 3 days, or is she being too sensitive? Do we need to meet in the middle on this?
Okay, so that's if he's not transgressing, he shouldn't be apologizing and asking forgiveness.
And husbands, let me insert this here. Husbands should never, ever apologize simply as a way of making peace. That what you're trying to do is build a good marriage on the firm foundation of a lie.
And you won't get peace.
It's just going to get worse and worse. So do not try to patch things up. I'm sorry in a thought bubble for whatever it was you thought I did. If a husband is apologizing for how he made her feel in the dream she had last night, and he apologizes for that, he's trying to build a good relationship with his wife by lying to her, and that's just.
Now let's flip it and say that this guy really is screwing it up, but it's a mid thing. The wife says no. He keeps asking for my forgiveness because he keeps telling me, he'll be home at 5:30 for dinner,
right? And
I make dinner, and he walks in the door at 6:20.
Yeah.
And he asked, 4 days ago he did this, and he did it again. 4 days, every 4 days.
Right.
We're running into the same problem. What am I supposed to do?
Right. What you're supposed to do is not have dinner ready.
Okay.
Right. So let's say he just doesn't keep his word. He's chronically late. Okay. She should budget for that. Right. And start dinner when he gets home. Right. And you say, well, no, I want to plan. He might say, well, where's dinner? I say, well, well, Paco. So these are things you have to work out. And if he's really not reliable, then she should adjust her behavior accordingly, right? And not look for things that he's. Why are you trusting him when he says this?
What's interesting to me about what you said is, and this is like classic your moves. She's to adjust her behavior. You're not telling her to become unreliable. You're telling her that, at least in that particular instance, she shouldn't trust what he's saying in that regard because he keeps saying what's not true. And it actually doesn't inconvenience the wife that much because she just now has a different time. She has 6:20 is the time when dinner comes, or it starts when he gets there, and she can get other things done.
Right.
And it's actually teaching a wonderful lesson from, say, the wife to the husband. There's still respect, and there's also a lesson.
There's respect. There's a lesson. She's honoring his actual decision making, not his professions of when he's going to be home. He's going to perhaps feel the sting of it more than if she rebuked him. You said you'd be home here.
Yeah.
If he's late and she rebukes him, he's going to feel like she's nagging him. But if she just adjusts to his freewheeling spirit, he's going to find, I shouldn't do that to her.
Yes. And of course, the naughty thing, so don't take it all the way to, like, I don't know, putting habanero peppers into his oatmeal in the morning. That's when it goes wrong. Like, really, it's not that kind of lesson, but it is a lesson that's accommodating to what he's up to.
Yeah, you can get an attitude, a stink eye attitude into all this. Here's your shredded wheat, you get you're late again. So don't do that. But basically, many marriage difficulties could be solved if both husband and wife decided to act like reasonable human beings and met in the middle somehow. There's a way to compromise and things like that.
I thought you were a radical.
No, I'm a take it easy kind of guy.
Third way.
Third way.